Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at, well, a really powerful story about regret. How it's built piece by piece.
Yeah, we're digging into a memoir called My Last Word. It traces this whole relationship arc between two people, Rahul and Shreya. It's not just a love story. It's about how things fall apart.
Exactly. How external forces like family and internal stuff, like just not having the courage at the right moment, how they combine to break something that seemed really strong.
It's quite detailed. This feels less like just recounting a breakup and more like an analysis of failure. Our goal here is to track Rahul's journey, see where those critical moments were, the silences, the hesitations that led to this huge, life-changing regret.
The protagonists themselves are such a study in contrast. You've got Rahul, the classic introvert, right? The quiet lone wolf, totally focused on his coding.
And then there's Shreya, just a force of nature, confident, extroverted, the kind of person who fills a room. Her laughter, the book says, was like this magnetic thing.
Okay, so let's start there. That initial meeting, the attraction, it's pretty fascinating how their differences were actually the draw.
Oh, absolutely. The source material makes that really clear. Rahul was almost mesmerized by her confidence, her ability to just be in the spotlight, something he avoided like the plague.
Right.
But for Shreya, Rahul offered something different. Stability, maybe. The memoir specifically says she valued him because he listened, not to respond, but to understand. That quiet depth. That was the foundation.
That's a really key point. And their friendship starts to build in Rahul's little quiet zone, his corner in the canteen.
Yeah, his peaceful island, he calls it. And that's where Shreya starts teasing him, calling him the lone wolf, playfully, you know.
But then comes the chocolate moment. That seems like a turning point.
It really was. Because she doesn't demand anything. She just walks over, puts chocolate bar on his table. Simple, no pressure. It wasn't about pulling him into her world, just offering something. And apparently that was enough to crack his shell, start a real conversation that felt easy.
And pretty soon, this private connection becomes, well, public. They go from the canteen corner to being this known pair in college.
The dynamic duo, yeah. First, there's that freshers party ramp walk, total surprise pairing, the shy guy and the confident girl. But somehow their styles just clicked, and they won Best Ramp Walk Pair.
Found a rhythm?
Exactly. And then hosting the Winterfest. That's the peak, really. The description of Shreya just bursting with excitement after they win Best Hosts, and she pulls Rahul into this huge hug right there on stage.
In front of hundreds of people.
Yeah. It showed everyone, maybe even showed them, how real the connection was, even before any words were spoken, you know?
But that's telling, isn't it? Even in that very public moment of connection, the actual confession, it's still unspoken.
Mm-hmm. It sort of foreshadows what's coming. Their feelings are obvious. They can be seen, felt. But Rahul just isn't ready to actually say it. The courage isn't quite there yet.
Which brings us nicely to the next phase. The trials, the commitment, how crisis actually seemed to strengthen their bond, at least initially.
Right. There's that gap after graduation. He's doing his master's. She's in the corporate world. Distance.
But they reconnect when Shreya hits a rough patch. Job loss, health problems.
And this is crucial. It moves them beyond just the college romance. Rahul steps up, but quietly. No big trauma, just listening, being there. He even helps her out financially, discreetly. That builds some serious trust.
And that trust leads to the trekking trip. That feels like a really pivotal section in the memoir.
Oh, hugely. Sharing earphones on the bus, listening to that song, Pela Nasha. Shreya leans her head on his shoulder.
And he tenses up at first, worried about what people might think.
Yeah, exactly. It's a small thing, but it echoes that bigger hesitation later on. He does let it happen eventually.
Yeah.
But that initial recoil, it's there.
But on the trek itself, things shift. He takes her hand naturally, helping her on the trail. That physical barrier starts to dissolve.
And then, inevitably, it's Shreya who has to make the move. Again, she calls him up and just says it. I like you, Rahul. I love you.
And his response? Just
painful, isn't it? It says so much about that emotional guardedness, even when he's getting exactly what he wants. He does confirm it the next day, properly, and she's overjoyed, crying, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
But that first pause, that single word, it's a sign.
So they're finally committed, and almost immediately, life throws some serious stuff at them, these external crises.
Yeah, first the online blackmail threat, that video call thing.
Yeah.
Terrifying. And then actual physical harassment later on.
But they tackle both together, filing police reports, FIRs, side by side. That must have solidified things, made them feel like a real team.
Definitely. And then Rahul's grandmother passes away, deep grief for him. And Shreya's just there. Solid, quiet support, no demands, just presence. proving she's a partner in the truest sense.
So think about it. The relationship, whether distance, fear, actual crime, grief, it even survived another marriage proposal Shreya got.
Right, from a perfectly respectable family.
Yeah.
But she chose Rahul. Told him, I want to be with you. Only you. Crystal clear.
So the bond is tested, proven, resilient. They chase each other. Why then does it fall apart?
And that's the tragic turn, isn't it? We move from overcoming external threats to, well, internal failures. Specifically, Rahul's failure when faced with his family.
Right. He finally introduces Shreya to the extended family, and the reaction is just instant rejection, hostility even, especially from a strict uncle.
Yeah, the uncle apparently just tears into her character. Denial and insult, the book calls it. Total dismissal.
And Rahul's father is caught in the middle, torn between his son and the family's rigid stance, when Shreya's father makes the formal call to discuss marriage.
It's shut down. Flat refusal, led by the uncle. They won't even consider it.
So Rahul's trapped. Love versus family duty, the classic dilemma, but incredibly intense here. And his choice. It's devastating.
Which leads us to the last word. Not a spoken word, but an action. That private email account they shared, their digital safe space full of photos, notes.
Your sanctuary.
Exactly. Rahul decides, in what he maybe saw as a protective move, to just delete it permanently, to try and end the pain, maybe shield them both from more conflict.
But the way he does it, the source says he's at work, busy, can't explain. Then Shreya calls, needing the OTP for something related to the account.
And realizes what he's doing mid-call. He confirms it's being deleted, and she just hangs up, abruptly.
From her perspective, it must have felt like the ultimate rejection. Sudden, silent, unexplained erasure of their shared world.
And here's the core question the memoir leaves you with. Was that deletion genuinely protective? An attempt to save them both from a losing battle? Or was it? Well, was it cowardice? Choosing the path of least resistance, bowing to pressure instead of fighting.
It's so easy to judge from the outside, but the writing really puts you in his shoes. The sheer weight of that family and cultural pressure.
Absolutely. But the lack of communication transforms a potentially difficult, maybe even necessary decision into a fatal misunderstanding.
And the fallout is immediate. Shreya just pulls away. Replies get shorter, slower, colder, detached.
The silence and the misunderstanding just severed the connection completely. It was broken.
Then comes the finality. Rahul sees it on social media. Shreya's married.
And then the second blow. Later on, she's pregnant. Life just moved on without him while he was still stuck, hoping somehow.
Yeah, the memoir describes his state, then shock, denial, can't focus on work. His whole reality had been built around that connection, even after it seemed lost.
He realizes the love hasn't died, but the chance is gone. So he shifts gears. He needs closure, but he can't just call her up, disrupt her new life.
So he starts what the book calls indirect forgiveness.
Right. Sending these subtle messages, not demanding anything, just referencing old memories they shared, that blurred photo from the trek, the smile when they won the hosting award, little inside thing.
Like coded messages saying, I still remember, I still value it, I'm sorry.
Exactly. It's his way of trying to communicate his regret, his lasting respect, without intruding. A quiet apology for failing her, for not having the courage when it mattered most.
And eventually he does get a response. Quiet acknowledgement.
Yeah, it's incredibly poignant.
Yeah.
Shreya replies to one message simply saying, I'm sorry if I ever hurt you. It's like, it acknowledges the shared pain, doesn't it? A quiet, dignified closing of the circle in a way, offering peace, even though it's all too late for a different outcome.
Peace, yes, but overshadowed by this massive regret. The memoir ends with Rahul just laying it all out, his final thoughts.
In its brutal self-assessment, he explicitly states his regrets. Letting family pressure and fear guide my life, regretting not expressing my feelings fully when I could.
And the ultimate realization, choosing compliance over love, safety over courage.
It's stark. Their love was strong, incredibly resilient against so many external hits, distance, crime, rivals, but it broke against that combination of family opposition and his own internal failure to stand up definitively.
Which leaves us with that final thought, that lingering question for you, the listener. Rahul's last word, deleting that email, was maybe meant to protect them.
But was the real tragedy the source of all that regret? His failure to speak the first word that was needed, that definitive yes to her, that no to his family's unreasonable demands right at the start of the opposition? Was the real failure not the final act, but the lack of courage much earlier? That's the space where regret lives.
A really powerful question about the cost of choosing safety when love demands courage. Thanks for walking us through this incredibly moving deep dive into My Last Word.
My pleasure. It's a story that certainly stays with you.